Why do you think the AUSD administration puts a rule about a female student showing a portion of her belly or her bra strap?
I don't think it's just limited to Ellsworth. I think this is sort of a just common policy across high schools. I know when I went to school a million years ago, we had a dress code policy that was very, very similar to the one that you see right now in 2021. But I think there's a lot of reasons that it exists, and it is, distractions, having the kids, be appropriate, not wanting to offend people, and there's a lot of reasons why it exists.
Have you witnessed a supervisor or another teacher dress code a student?
Not in like a dramatic way. I have heard like from across the quad, you know how you hear shouts at lunchtime. So I've heard kids get called out for like wearing a hat or something. That would be the main thing that I've heard.
So, how are we feeling about the documentary miniseries?
Good. Christopher, how are you feeling about it? Like, what did you like the most about it, or what do you feel like could have been better?
I've been restricted on some of the things that I've tried to put in so far. It seems, for Marquez's interview at least, it seems like I'm speaking to a politician. I'm receiving politician answers.
Yeah, I really wish that the interviews could have been more more comfortable, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like their honest opinions, but how do you feel about it, Jordan?
Well, this is a school setting. I'm pretty sure that's why they're restricting everything, because not everything can be said because it's in a school setting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's also been some things that I was allowed to put in, but it wasn't as I planned.
What are some of those things? Like,
so for example, your interview went pretty good, but I forgot to ask you about your petition and why you started this.
if anything, I can answer that right now.
Sure.
Okay. Well, with the petition, how it went, it was pretty good. For the most part, I got either positive responses or just like people that didn't care too much. But I think the most disappointing part about it was I kind of realized who our teachers really are and what they're like. Because for some reason, when teachers would say no to the petition, they didn't just say no, they did it in a really disrespectful manner, but students were able to at least give me respect and be like, oh no thank you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how the petition went, and I started it just because I didn't want to wait for, the adults to change their mind, or to realize, hey, this dress code's kind of messed up, because as long as it doesn't have anything to do with them, they're not going to notice. So I didn't want to wait for that change.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there's been some instances where some of the teachers actually agree with the current dress code.
Oh, yeah, my friend was telling me that, so one of her teachers said that we should just go to uniform. That's how opposed to it they were.
You did tell me that.
Did you hear any stuff from your teachers, Gerardo?
What's that?
Did you hear anything from, your teachers? Or, how did your classmates feel about it?
my teachers don't really talk about the dress code, nor my classmates at all. So that discussion has never really been, I guess, talked about.
Oh, cool, cool.
So, for episode 1, what stood out to you?
What stood out to me was Marquez's interview, just because it was interesting, but it was also, like how you said, like, political answers, like politician, like, careful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like he didn't want to, like, maybe hurt the students' feelings or, you know, like, make it personal, but I guess that's kind of what I wanted to hear, like, how he felt about it. Just because I, like, see him as, like, a role model, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
as a leader.
So, what do we want the outcome of this to be? Like, the entire mini documentary series. What do we want the outcome to be?
For me, I want kids and students to learn that it's okay to speak up for themselves and others, even if everyone's against you. Especially if it's people that you think are there to protect you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, throughout this process, it was mainly teachers. Like, people that I had trusted and had thought and was raised to believe would encourage and protect me did the opposite. So I hope that my classmates look at this and what we've achieved together by petitioning and showing that we care, that they can make a difference, and that they're all leaders, and that they could all become leaders.
Gerardo, do you
Also-
want to add on anything?
Well, it's like what Judith said that I want students to be aware, knowing that I want to say that they should be comfortable for what they wear and stuff like that, but not where it's like crossing the line where they know they will be dress coded. But yeah, I want to say I feel like that would be it.
How do you feel, Christopher?
So, starting this off, I just did this as a way for you to share your message. I didn't really think anything of it. I knew that, at the time, I knew that nothing was going to change. Because, and this is going to sound bad on my part, but nothing was going to change because you're a girl. So,
Oh, okay.
So-
I don't even take that offensively.
so in this modern world, they just say that you are on your hormones or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Literally. Oh,
So-
sorry to cut you off, but like literally, those are the type of responses I would get. But go on.
so that's why I took initiative and I messaged you that same day.
Yeah. Thank you for that. But yeah, like I remember bringing it up to my counselor, and he kind of giggled, and I was like, "Bruh, like it's whatever." But and then this lady, he was talking to her, and he was like, "Oh, remember when you wanted to change the dress code?" And she was like, "Oh, I was a good girl." And it was like, "What do you mean by that?" Like, and I got a lot of responses like that, like, "Oh, you're just a kid," like, "Oh, you're just doing this for," or like how you would get responses like, "Oh, you're just doing this for the girls' attention," you know?
Yeah.
That's from our teachers, dude. And you, Gerardo? Any thoughts?
No, as of right now, not really.
Yeah. Also, can I add something?
Sure.
Is that okay? It frustrated me that the only way they would get our attention is if I made a petition, if I asked politely, if I did this, if I did that. And it frustrates me that if we would have protested, if we would have showed, you know, like, this is frustrating us, like, we're fed up, they would have just seen us as, like, we're throwing a tantrum. And they would have completely disregarded our movement and what we stand for and what we want to push. Like, I don't think that's okay. Because even those schools that are protesting, they're valid. Like, they have the right to be that frustrated. They have the right to protest. And to play it off as a joke, or those kids are hormonal, like you said, or whatever, is wrong. Like, if a student is upset about something so much that they're going to protest about it, you need to take them seriously. Whether, even if it's not a petition, even if it's not having meetings, even if it's not asking politely, like, students need to be heard.
Yeah, and in the first episode, I also touch on that with our principal, and he said that he liked the democratic way and not how you said and throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, like that's why I brought it up, because I watched the interview and I was just like, bruh, like I did it this way just because I feel like it'd be easier, because although protests are like good and I think they're a good tool, it's also important to watch our image, because I know there would be some students that don't care at all, but would just protest to have an excuse to cut that teachers or to like
I
cause
see that.
a commotion, you know. So that's the main reason why I did it in a, I guess you could say, diplomat, or does he say diplomatic, or how does
Democratic.
Democratic, yeah, democratic way, just to keep it more organized, just in case someone wanted to, you know, like, tarnish the movement, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
otherwise, protests are good, you know? Even then, like, people are still doing it in their own little way. Like, I've noticed more people are wearing crop tops and spaghetti straps. Like, I do it myself, because it's, like, a peaceful way of just, like, representing my cause. And one thing that really frustrated me is one of my friends who had helped me get signatures for the petition wore, like, a shirt that showed a little bit of her stomach, and her teacher was bagging on her. He was like, oh, you have people sign the dress code petition, but look at you, like, you're showing your stomach, like, what are you representing? And it's like, that's kind of the whole point. But it really frustrated me that he, or she, I don't remember who the teacher was, but yeah, she got, like, bagged on for it. She just kind of, like, sat there and she was like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I had a meeting with Marquez and Hughes, and I presented them, like, what we want to change in the dress code, and I made a presentation for them, and I had included, like, instead of focusing on our kids' dress code, or instead of focusing on what our kids are wearing, we need to focus on them. Like, at Novi, we have a lot of students that after high school or during high school, they get involved in gangs and drugs and violence. So instead of watching what they wear, we should watch their habits. We should implement anger management classes. We should do this, you know, drug prevention classes, therapy for our students. We should have classes about body autonomy, which is pretty much your knowing, like, what your comfort, like, your consent and your boundaries with others and your body. That's pretty much body autonomy. So if someone were to get sexualized or someone were to get sexually harassed, their harasser would go to those classes and learn about consent and all those things, rather than get someone in trouble for their clothes.
Is that something the school would be able to do?
Sorry. I talked to them about it, but they didn't seem too, like, interested, if you know what I mean. Like, I had brought up, instead of suspending a student, we give them anger management classes or courses, but they were kind of like, oh, well, we kind of do that already, and they didn't have much to say about the classes. Because I also brought up, like you said, our school doesn't really have a sense of leadership, like our students don't. So I brought up etiquette classes and debate classes, students how to properly display how they feel, because a lot of our students don't have the tools to train themselves on, like, okay, how do I convey this without saying, like, oh, you know, you idiot, it's this way, it's not that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the only reason I was able to do this with the dress code is because I have family members that took debate courses that know how to talk about these things, so I was able to convey my feelings properly and get the movement going. And I want our students to have that same opportunity.
I see that, but the first thing that I thought of when you said take anger management classes and all this was how much it would cost, because our school isn't very rich.
That was one of my concerns too. Like, would want to look into the funds of our school, you know, and if we have enough, I would say like anger management courses and or at least like a therapy session, you know.
Yeah, and this sounds like more of a discussion for our student council because they do see the school budget.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems like more their style. So what do you want to see for episode 2?
For me, honestly, I'm gonna push and push and push. Like, I know you guys are just saying small steps, and I do think that's important, but I don't think I could stand for just small steps. Because since kindergarten, that was the first time I got dress coded. We've had the spaghetti strap and crop top rule, and it's been 17, no, it was like 5, so it's been 12 years. And I guess I'm tired of waiting. So if they do change it to just hats and beanies, I don't think I can stand for that.
So something that I want to know and something that I haven't told you when I first met you was, why did you wait since kindergarten to speak up? This is your senior year and you're talking about this now. Why?
Yeah. Well, when I was in freshman year, I was like head empty, like no thoughts, like nothing important ran through my brain. So freshman year was just like for fun, like for giggles. And then sophomore year, did nothing again. Like it was more of like hanging out with my friends. But that's when I started discovering like who I was. And it wasn't until COVID hit and school was out of the way, because I do feel like school is a big distraction on who I am as a person and my knowledge. So I think it was COVID that made me realize like my true potential and what I actually wish for. And that's why it wasn't until senior year that I had the courage and the knowledge to make the change.
So another thing that I wanna see in the 3rd episode at least is I wanna see more teachers taking initiative and helping the students. Because I feel that the teachers are a little disconnected with the students. You want to add anything to that?
I want to start small because I feel like that would be better. Like to see how would things go or turn out, or what would be the outcome, and then if we can at least like if we can keep that up, I feel like then we can start changing things. You know, it's like, for example, it's like, how can I say it? For an example, let's just say this, that if you follow the rules, you can get something. You know, like so if you're following them, I'm pretty sure they'll like start changing things and see how, I guess, responsible we can be and not breaking the dress code rules. So I feel like if we can start small, we can work our way up to the top, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I feel like rushing it would be too fast, and I don't know what could happen. So I feel like starting off small would be great, and then like let's just say, okay, so hats and beanies, we can start doing it by next month, and if we can keep up like the appropriate like colors, or not affiliated with game related things like Judith said, then maybe we can start discussing and then start coming up with changes what we can do with the dress code.
Well, why do you want to see hats and beanies and not undergarments?
Can
Because-
I say something real quick?
What happened?
Can I add on to it real quick?
Sure.
Honestly, I think a lot of adults in the board to change the dress code right now are gonna push for that. But me personally, I'm gonna push for everything to change as much as I can. Because if we only have hats and beanies, usually boys tend to wear hats and beanies. So, like, leaves a disfair advantage to the girls that don't tend to wear it. Because girls wear beanies, but You know what I mean? Like, boys tend to wear them every single day. So if the boys mess up, girls have to suffer for it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, that's what I was getting to when I told Gerardo why he wanted to see just hats and beanies first and not undergarments. Because everyone
I
has...
just wanted to play it safe first. Sorry.
Yeah, I get what you mean, because I think that's what a lot of teachers are going to push for. But I feel that we could get the same outcome if we were to allow crop tops, spaghetti straps, off the shoulders. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And something that I see mostly are girls that wear crop tops and spaghetti straps that get dress coded the most. So I'd say the first thing we should change is our undergarments.
But yeah, I want to, but like, I hope that we're able to change everything. Because I do want to change hats and beanies, because I don't think it's fair to anyone that we can't wear hats and beanies. But my main focus would have to be like bare midriffs, spaghetti straps, muscle shirts, because those are incorporated in the dress code, just guys don't get dress coded for it. And hats and beanies just because they're comfortable. And I see a lot of my friends, like one of my close friends, he always wears hats and it really frustrates him. So yeah, I hope to change everything so that everyone feels included in that change. You know what I mean? And no one's left out.
So something that I've seen is that students aren't allowed to wear hats or beanies, but we see adults wearing them.
Yup. Oh my god. Yup.
And at this point, you're just picking and choosing.
Yeah, like it's really upsetting because they say the reason we should follow the dress code is because it's like a job, but realistically it's a job for them, but they don't follow the dress code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of hypocritical. I
want to say that some of the examples that the principal gave me for when he said that this was a quote-unquote job was that he wouldn't come to school wearing swimwear, like swim trunks.
Oh God.
Why?
I think that's the most... Go on.
Why would you even consider wearing that?
Yeah, like, that's a really frustrating thing, because anytime I've talked to a teacher, they're like, oh, well, you know, we don't want kids showing up like they're going to the beach. It's like, they're not going to do that. Like, I think that's the most frustrating thing through this experience is they talk as if they're a part of our movement. You know, like, it doesn't oppress them. So they can't really say, like, oh, we don't want students to go in bathing suits. Because since they're not a part of it, they don't know that that's not what we're pushing for. And it kind of shows that they're not listening to it.
Yeah, and another example he gave me was that he wouldn't want to see students wearing a bikini, and I don't see how that correlates with what we're trying to do.
Yeah, because if they're really listening, they would just get it, you know? Because showing your stomach, it's not a big deal. You know, I see a lot of football players do it. It doesn't bug me. Like, I get it. It's hot. You're practicing 24/7. You have the right to show your stomach. So I don't think it's fair that we, like, bag on other kids for doing it too. Like, it's not a big deal. And none of the students get distracted by it. Literally every day I wear spaghetti straps. I still have good grades. And no one seems to be bothered by it.
Yeah, I have noticed that. Want to add on to that, Gerardo? Anything radical per se?
What's that?
Do you want to add on to that?
No.
Okay. So, what frustrates you most about this entire thing? This documentary has started on August 20th, when I saw Judith posting something to her story about how teachers will say stuff about dress code but don't really care about masks. And on that same day, that's when I DM'd you saying if you wanted to do an interview with NVTV. You obviously accepted, and I went to my teacher, and we had a discussion back and forth about if this should happen, because she also agrees that this is something we should do, and she wants this video to be good, but there are some things that she thinks that aren't worth talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
So on August 19th, we were emailing back and forth, and something that I added was, and this is word by word. Hello, miss. With all due respect, this story is fresh and worth telling. The girl has received 347 signatures in a span of 2 days. We need to move forward on this story. I understand that it's a controversial topic, but it doesn't have to be. Lastly, I know what I was in for the moment I reached out to this individual. I am willing to suffer the consequences that follow.
Thanks for that, Chris.
So after that, we did our interview. Everything from that point on has been posted. And I haven't really seen anything change. Not even a little bit.
I think it's frustrating because if anything, it didn't really much change anything like campus culture-wise. It did change the dress code because, now we have a committee that's going to overlook the dress code every year and make sure it correlates with, what our students wear and how they feel each year. So that is a really big step for change, and I'm really happy that we were able to achieve that. But campus culture-wise, I feel like if anything, it's just showing us like who our teachers really are, and that makes me sad that instead of our teachers looking at this and understanding, they look at it and laugh. But I would like to say, I won't name names because but I think the teacher will know who I'm talking about. I really appreciated it. Because at first they were opposed to it. I asked them to sign. They were like, nope, I don't want to sign it. And I was just like, okay. And they talked to me more about it. And they talked to me more about it and expressed some of their concerns and what they think. And the more I talked to them about it, about how we feel, we're not trying to push anything crazy. We're just tired. And she signed it. And she agreed with me, and I really appreciated that at least one teacher was willing to change her mind and be open to a new idea.
Yeah, I see that. So since the first episode has been posted, I think 2 days now, I have been receiving some comments. I am very thankful for Miss Stebbings' class, by the way. So she basically watched the video, she liked it, and she thought that some points were missed. One of them being how the dress code sexualizes body types for underage girls. What do we think about that?
Jordan, would you like to go first?
Can you repeat the question again?
So, I've been receiving some feedback, and she watched the video, she liked it, and she felt that there was a point missed. The point being how the dress code sexualizes body types for underage girls. What do we think? Well, first of all, underage being 17 under. I just want to clarify that for anyone that doesn't know what underage means.
Okay, Judith, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I honestly do think it kind of does, because it's frustrating that, and I know other girls have experienced it, anytime I wear, like, a crop top, or I wear a shirt that only covers my breasts, like, people think I'm trying to, get something out of it, you know what I mean? Like, trying to get attention, and like, or have someone like me. And it really frustrates me because it's like, I dress for me. Like, the reason I wear what I wear is because I think I look good in it. And I love being able to wear what I wear. So I do think that the dress code sexualizes girls because there's nothing inappropriate about showing your belly. There's nothing inappropriate about cleavage or bra straps. And if you do find that, you know, sexual, it's immature. Like, it's okay to, you know, have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a significant other and like how they look, you know what I mean? Like their breasts or whatever, or their butt. But if it's not someone that you're looking at like that, it's immature. Like, you should have the respect and maturity to ignore the fact that you could see their cleavage or their bra strap. You know what I mean? Like, we need to hold our students at a higher standard.
Yeah, I understand where you're getting at. So just to conclude everything, I'd say for the most part, we all want to see some portion of this current dress code change. So we all are in agreement that we all want to see something change from the dress code. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this entire mini documentary series was created for that and other things. If another person wants to step up and say that something needs to change, this is the entire point of this segment. So if anyone has anything they want to change, to let me know so that we can figure out possible solutions on how to change whatever it is that needs changing. And we'll go step by step. And on that note, this concludes this entire phone call. Do you guys have any last words?
No, I don't.
Okay. Anything?
No.
Well, I hope that, like Chris said, that everyone, if they want to change something, they strive for it, and not to be afraid to be a leader or wait for someone else to lead the way, you know? I hope that after our students watch our segments and maybe get to know us more, they could come to us to kind of help them become leaders. So that's what I want for each and every student, to be able to stand up for themselves and what's right. And that's it. Thank you, Chris.
Well, on that note, this has been our discussion about dress code and this entire series. And I hope people watching this will join our movement and possibly change something of their own. Well, on that note, this has been episode 2, and I hope you guys watch episode 3.
Are we done?
Yes, we're done.
That went well. Good job, guys. Hey,
And on-
good. Thank you.
And on that note, you guys did great. I never imagined that we would go this far. I thought we would have gotten
Really?
shut. I genuinely thought we would have gotten shut down by now.
I know. I remember, like, I used to think it was funny how, like, I guess you could say, like, doubtful you were of the whole thing. Because I remember you telling me you would send stuff like, oh yeah, this isn't gonna last a week. And then you would unsend it and be like, filming starts tomorrow.
Yeah, but I've seen that it's...
So yeah, I'm really glad that you got to see it through.
Yeah, I was surprised that we actually made it this far.
Me too. And I...
Really?
Yeah, I had
have
like,
hopes.
I had my doubts.
Okay.
The second the
That's
protest
alright.
happened at Moreno Valley, that's when I started having doubts that this entire thing was not happening.
Dang, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't think anything would happen. I was like, yep, this is gonna work out. a little too optimistic.
Yes. But on that note, I'm gonna let you guys go.
I'm done. Okay, bye. Good night, guys.
Yep.